The Fortune of Simon Cowell. Success struggle. The surprising twist. Imagine a fortune so immense, so staggering, that it could reduce a family to tears not from joy, but from something far more complex. Simon Cowell, the television mogul, known for his brutal honesty and razor-sharp business instincts, built an empire valued at a jaw-dropping $600 million. But what if behind this colossal wealth lies a secret one that could leave his loved ones shocked and heartbroken? Let's start with the scale of Simon Cowell's success. As of 2025, his net worth sits at a staggering $600 million. This fortune has been built on the back of global television hits, such as Pop Idol, American Idol, The X Factor, and the Got Talent franchise. Beyond TV, Cowell also made millions in the music industry, launching stars like Little Mix. But the path to riches wasn't always smooth. In the early 1980s, long before the private jets and luxury cars, Cowell faced crushing financial setbacks. He made early attempts to break into the music business with E&S Music, and later Fanfare Music. In 1986, he found minor success producing a hit for Sunita. But just 3 years later, his company collapsed. He found himself nearly bankrupt, owing a staggering £500,000, a massive debt at the time. His prized Porsche was repossessed, and with nowhere else to turn, he moved back in with his parents. It wasn't a minor stumble, it was a near-total collapse. But Simon Cowell is nothing if not resilient. He clawed his way back by working with music giant BMG, where he began scouting talent. Eventually, he founded S Records under BMG and signed Robson and Jerome, two actors who turned an old classic, Unchained Melody, into a smash hit. The track topped UK charts for 7 weeks and sold millions. Robson and Jerome went on to sell over 7 million albums and 5 million singles. Cowell credits them with making him his first million. From there, signed other successful acts like Five and Westlife. But his most explosive fame came not from music, but from television. In 2001, he joined Pop Idol in the UK, followed by American Idol in the US a year later. His brutally honest critiques quickly made him both famous and infamous. Starting with a salary of $8 million per season, he became one of the highest-paid figures on American television. By 2005, that salary had jumped to $36 million per season. And he was later offered $45 million to stay on, but he walked away instead. Altogether, he earned at least $24 million from the show. But Cowell wasn't content to remain just a judge. In 2004, he launched The X Factor under his new production company, Psycho, pronounced Psycho, and later created Britain's Got Talent and America's Got Talent. These franchises exploded in popularity worldwide, generating massive income and solidifying his role as a global entertainment powerhouse. By 2012-2013, he was reportedly earning $75 million in a single year just from The X Factor. In the UK, he earned about £6 to $6.8 million per season, on top of his producing profits. According to Forbes, he made $95 million in 2013 alone. And even as late as 2020, he was still pulling in $51 a million. At the heart of it all was Psycho Entertainment. Sony Music bought a major stake in the company in 2005, forming a lucrative joint venture that lasted for years. Psycho became a driving force behind Cowell's global success and the engine that powered his ever-growing wealth. But even as his empire soared, questions linger about what Cowell plans to do with this immense fortune and whether his decisions about its future might bring pain instead of peace to those closest to him. Simon Cowell's empire, complete control, ultimate luxury, and the cost of fame. The partnership between Simon Cowell and Sony Music proved to be incredibly successful, launching countless artists through hit shows like The X Factor and Got Talent. But in 2020, Simon made a bold and strategic move. He bought back Sony's stake in Psycho Entertainment. This gave him full control over his television properties, including the iconic franchises he had helped build. While Sony retained the music side of Psycho along with its artist catalog and historical recordings, the music label itself became largely inactive soon after. This marked a pivotal shift in Simon's business focus. By reclaiming ownership of the television side, Cowell signaled a clear understanding of where the future lay. Rather than continuing with the traditional and increasingly volatile music label model, he doubled down on the intellectual property and format rights of globally successful shows. It was a savvy play, one that reflected a sharp eye for evolving trends in entertainment. With a fortune like his, it's no surprise that Cowell's real estate portfolio is just as extravagant as his career. For years, one of his most prized possessions was a £45 million mansion in Holland Park, one of London's most elite neighborhoods. But in 2023, he made the surprising decision to sell it not because of the price, but because he no longer felt safe there. The decision followed several frightening incidents. In 2012, an intruder armed with a brick broke into his bathroom. And in 2015, a burglar stole passports and jewelry while Simon and his family slept. Despite investing £500,000 in security systems, reports emerged that a criminal gang had obtained a copy of his front door key. Ultimately, Cowell chose to leave the city and relocate to the quieter countryside with his partner Lauren Silverman and their son, Eric. Still, his life remains nothing short of luxurious. Across the Atlantic, Cowell owns a breathtaking oceanfront estate in Malibu, California, with panoramic ocean views, a private tennis court, and a garage full of exotic cars. The home has been valued at between $24 million and $32 million. It's a personal paradise where he spends much of his time. He's also a regular in Barbados, especially during the holidays. One of his favorite retreats is Cove Spring House, a palatial 10-bedroom villa that has served as a filming location for the X Factor's Judges' Houses segment. Listed at around $19.7 million, or approximately $25 million, in 2020. The villa includes a private beach, a 75-foot pool, a cinema, and a gym. While it's unclear whether Simon owns the property, Cove Spring House is often rented out when not occupied by its owner. He was reportedly interested in purchasing a beachfront home in the area for up to $10 million, hinting at a desire to establish deeper roots on the island. Luxury, legacy, and a surprising choice. Simon Cowell's car collection reads like a luxury auto catalog Jeep vehicle, reflecting his love for speed, its craftsmanship, and timeless design. In addition to his Bugatti Veyron and Rolls-Royce Phantom, he also owns a Rolls-Royce Ghost valued at around $300,000, and a classic Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud 3, a vintage beauty beloved by collectors. His passion for Italian engineering is evident, with multiple Ferraris, including a Ferrari California, with around £140,000 or $170,000, a Ferrari 360, an F430, and a 458 Italia. One of the brand's most admired models starts at nearly $300,000 new. His garage also includes several Bentleys known for their powerful elegance, a Bentley Continental GT, Continental convertible worth around $225,000, and a Bentley Azure. Cowell is also a Jaguar enthusiast, with a lineup that spans the brand's heritage and innovation. It includes the classic XK120, sleek Jaguar F-Type Coupe approximately $70,000, and a Jaguar E-Type Series 2, often called one of the most beautiful cars ever made. One of his most prized classics is the ultra-rare Jaguar Eagle Speedster. It's valued at over $2 million at auction. His collection doesn't stop there. He owns a Lamborghini Urus around $200,000, a cutting-edge Tesla Model S $100,000, and even a smart Ford, with the most modest of the fleet, worth about $20,000. Add to that an Aston Martin DB7, and you get a clear picture of a man who takes immense joy in performance, elegance, and variety, not just boardrooms and TV screens. His deeply personal collection offers a glimpse into a different side of Simon Cowell, a man who values life's pleasures and beauty, in contrast to his hard-nosed business persona. But what truly sets him apart isn't just what he owns, it's what he chooses not to pass on. Despite a personal net worth of $600 million, Simon Cowell has made a decision that many find shocking. He does not plan to leave his fortune to his son Eric. Instead, he's been clear his wealth will go to charity. In an interview with Esquire, he explained his reasoning. I don't believe in that passing on from one generation to another. Meaning Cowell, a meaningful legacy isn't about handing down money, it's about giving people opportunities and sharing wisdom. His philosophy is grounded in the idea that wealth should serve a greater purpose. It's not simply preserve privilege. Simon has pledged that most of his fortune will go to causes that matter to him, likely charities that help children and animals, two groups he's long championed. His philanthropic work speaks volumes. He's a vice president of Shooting Star, children's hospices, and a patron of Together for Short Lives. He supports the Katie Piper Foundation, which helps survivors of burns and trauma, and he's donated to animal welfare organizations like Battersea Dogs and Cats Home, the RSPCA, and PETA. He also serves as an ambassador for Great Ormond Street Hospital and has raised funds for humanitarian crises, including the 2010 Haiti earthquake. His generosity extends globally to supporting Hope Sanctuary in Barbados, where he vacations, and Help for Heroes. Aiding wounded veterans, it's worth noting a moment of confusion among some supporters. There is another Simon Cowell, founder of the Wildlife Aid Foundation, who launched the Simon's Last Wish campaign after being diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. While unrelated, this highlights just how often the Cowell name is linked with charitable work and compassion. A legacy in question, the heart versus the principle lit. Important to clarify, the Simon Cowell, behind the Simon's Last Wish campaign founder of the Wildlife Aid Foundation, is a different man. Not the music mogul we've followed throughout this story. The confusion itself speaks to the power of name recognition and the universal impact of charitable giving. What makes Simon Cowell's stance on inheritance so fascinating is the emotional shift he's experienced since becoming a father. When Eric was born in 2014, Simon described the moment as life-altering. "I never thought I'd be a dad," he admitted. But everything changed. After seeing the first scan, he became literally obsessed. Since then, he said he considers Eric in every major decision he makes. His longtime partner, Lauren Silverman, echoed that sentiment, saying that fatherhood gave Simon a deeper perspective. He realized there's so much more to life. What's the point of having all this if you don't have someone to share it with? That love, however, is in tension with a principle Simon has held firmly. He doesn't believe in inherited wealth. In past interviews, he has stated his money will go to charities, most likely ones supporting children and animals. "Though I don't believe in that passing on from one generation to another," he told Esquire. He wants his legacy to be about opportunity and purpose, not privilege. So now, the question looms. Has fatherhood softened his belief, or will he stand firm in it? This tension between head and heart, where the true emotional weight of Simon Cowell's legacy lies. On one side is a deeply held belief in self-made success, personal responsibility, and giving back to those in need. On the other is that undeniable bond with his only child, the son who transformed how he sees the world. Will his will reflect the businessman, the father, or a compromise between both? Adding complexity to the picture are the legal and financial realities of wealth in the UK, with inheritance taxes reaching up to 40% on estates over a certain threshold. Many ultra-wealthy individuals use trusts and charitable donations to manage what happens to their assets. If at least 10% of an estate's value is left to charity, the tax rate can drop to 36%, a significant difference when hundreds of millions are at stake. While Cowell has made it clear that his motives are rooted in values, not tax law, the financial structure certainly plays a practical role in estate planning at his level. But even titans like Simon Cowell aren't immune to life's curveballs. In 2017, he fainted and fell down the stairs in his London home. Doctors traced it to low blood pressure, a wake-up call, but he wasn't invincible. It was a huge shock, he admitted, vowing to focus more on his health for Eric's sake. Then came to much more serious accidents involving electric motorcycles. In August 2020, Cowell broke his back testing one at his Malibu home. The injury required a 6-hour surgery and a metal rod placed in his spine. He suffered long-term nerve damage. Rather than complain, he reflected, it happened for a reason. He saw it as a sign to slow down and heal both physically and mentally. Still, His love for bikes remained. In 2022, he had another serious iBike crash. These events, life-threatening, painful, and deeply personal, likely reshaped his views in ways the public can only guess at, may have further strengthened his belief in legacy through purpose. Or they may have deepened his emotional bond with Eric, possibly leading him to reconsider a decision that once seemed unshakable. After all, behind the sharp-tongued television persona is a father, a survivor, and a man with a fortune whose value goes far beyond money. Cowell rose to global fame for being the bluntest judge in the room, never afraid to tell contestants they were the worst singer in the world, or compare someone's voice to nails on a chalkboard. He played the villain of American Idol to perfection, known for biting lines like, "I don't mean to be rude, but..." Right before delivering a devastating critique, his brutal honesty became a brand. It helped define a generation of reality TV and build an empire. But it's clear that behind the scenes, Simon Cowell is far more complex than his on-screen caricature. He's a businessman who took risks, lost everything, rebuilt it, and created a media empire. He's a father who found unexpected joy in a role he never thought he'd take on. And he's a philanthropist who believes that what you leave behind should uplift more than just your name. It should uplift the world. In the end, the most intriguing part of Simon Cowell's story may not be how he built his fortune, but what he chooses to do with it. He famously told American Idol contestant William Hung that he couldn't sing or dance, a brutal line that went viral. This image of the tough judge wasn't accidental. It was partly crafted by his former publicist, Max Clifford, who understood that controversy and cruelty, when carefully controlled, meant sky-high ratings. Simon leaned into the role, becoming reality TV's favorite villain and one of its most bankable stars. But behind the scenes, the glossy facade of Idol and X Factor was sometimes darker. Over the years, the shows faced several controversies. Critics pointed to a formulaic use of emotional backstories, accusing that producers leaned too heavily on sob stories to elicit sympathy and manipulate viewer engagement. Product placements also drew scrutiny. Brands like Nokia, certain hotel chains, and other sponsors were visibly spotlighted in ways that felt excessive. Contestants themselves sometimes felt exploited. On the X Factor UK, one participant alleged that producers pushed him into emotionally vulnerable situations, pressuring him to come out as gay on stage before he felt ready, all in the name of ratings. These allegations highlighted a harsh reality of entertainment. Drama often comes at a personal cost. Cowell's own life added plenty of drama off-screen. In 2013, headlines exploded when news broke that his close friend's wife, Lauren Silverman, was pregnant with Simon's child. Her then-husband filed for divorce and named Simon in the legal documents. The scandal rocked the tabloids. Eventually, it was settled out of court, and Eric Cowell was born on Valentine's Day in 2014. Through it all, Simon Cowell continued to build. He went from a man on the brink of financial ruin in the late 1980s to one of the most influential and wealthy figures in global entertainment. His homes are opulent. His cars are world-class. His brand is recognized everywhere. But he's also a man who's been shaped by loss, public criticism, near-fatal injuries, and an unexpected path to fatherhood. And so we return to the question that frames this entire story. Will his immense fortune ultimately bring tears to his family's eyes, not from grief, but from a stunning decision that defies expectation? Simon Cowell's philosophy on wealth and legacy has remained unusually firm. He doesn't believe in passing fortunes down through generations. He believes in giving people opportunities, not inheritances. And he has said clearly that he intends for his fortune to go to charities, particularly those supporting children and animals. Yet fatherhood appears to have moved him in ways even he didn't predict. He speaks of Eric with deep affection and reverence, saying he now sees the world differently. He considers his son in every major life decision. And after surviving a series of serious health scares, including a broken back and dangerous fainting, episode he has had ample time to reflect on what truly matters. That tension between principle and paternal loves. What makes the story of Simon Cowell's fortune so compelling? Will he change his mind and ensure Eric inherits a share of his empire? Or will he stay true to the belief that money should be used to lift up the world, not simply handed down? The final chapter of Simon Cowell's financial legacy has yet to be written. And until it is, we're left with a powerful mystery at the heart of one of entertainment's greatest success stories.